Good evening to everyone present here tonight. My name is Brian and I will be your host for tonight. On behalf of the JPO family, we'd like to extend a warm welcome to everyone tuning in for tonight's broadcast. We hope that everyone is doing well and staying safe indoors. A friendly reminder to maintain good hygiene at all times and maintain social distancing when heading out. As we'd like to continue improving your experience with us, please help us achieve this by completing the poll that will be published during this broadcast. To anyone who is interested in sharing tonight's broadcast, a live feed is being shared on the JPO YouTube channel. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask, please feel free to type them out in the Q&A section down below. For those of you joining us from YouTube, please type your questions down in the live chat. A recording of the webinar will also be uploaded onto the YouTube channel. Today's seminar features Olivia Evelin Sundari, with her topic being Music from the Perspective of a Musicologist. Olivia Evelin Sundari is an Indonesian musicologist, pianist, and educator. She received her Masters of Musicology from the Kyoto City University of Arts, as well as a Bachelor of Music piano degree from the Ueno Gakuen University of Japan, both of which she achieved through scholarships and achievement funds sponsored by the Japan government and the Satoyo International Foundation. Her research study under Professor Ayako Tatsumura was on Western music dissemination in Indonesia and Ananda Sukarlan's poetic songs, or otherwise known as Tembang Puitik. As an active researcher, she has been involved in many international conferences, including Compositions in the 21st Century at Trinity College of Dublin, the 5th Biennial Meeting of the International Musicological Society Regional Association of East Asia in Suzhou, and the Musicological Society of Japan annual conference in Kyoto. She currently serves as a faculty member of the Conservatory of Music at the Pelita Harapan University, where her research interests cover historical musicology and ethnomusicology, particularly in the ethnic minorities musical practice in Indonesia. Her recent research projects include the music of the Baduy people and the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic to Indonesian musicians. As our JPO family members are mostly students ranging from primary school to college, their parents and their teachers, the sharing of knowledge and advice here for all of us tonight is invaluable and greatly appreciated. The JPO is very honored to have Olivia Evelin Sundari join in as our guest for tonight. I hope they'll all join me in giving her a warm welcome. Without further ado, once again, a very good evening to Olivia. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hello, Olivia.
Hello, Brian.
Hello. So, to start tonight's interview, what can you tell us about the video we were just watching earlier on?
Okay, so the video you're watching just now is a video which I took actually when I did the fieldwork in Baduy. So Baduy is a place, is an ethnic minority group in Indonesia. So we have like around 480 something ethnic minority groups in Indonesia. And well, to go there, actually you need from, well, let's say from Jakarta, you need like around 5 hours like with car. And you need to hike like for around like 3 hours in order to go to the village. And then and in the village you will see that there's no electricity and there is no formal education, so people cannot read there and they are not allowed to read. Well, so I went there, and then people talk like about like well, in Bali there are like black magic, and then so they are illiterate, and then they have no music, those kind of stuff. And actually we went there and we saw that, well, there is actually music, and they have like this kind of philosophy of life which is very simple but very full of dignity, like very respectful to all of people. So when you hear like listen to the music, you can see that there is no conductor there. So people there, they just started, and the members will just like follow around, and then you can see also there is rubato, like they slightly change the tempo like into very slow, and then people just continue and then try to listen to each other, and actually it reflects the society. So they actually do like this kind of meetings, for example, like weekly meetings, like to overcome, like to come up with like solutions, for example, if they face some kind of like challenging issues. So they listen to each other, like and you can see that, and it was portrayed like in the music. Yeah, that is about the video.
All right. Well, thanks, Olivia. Thanks for that insight into the culture of the Baduy people. It's definitely very interesting to hear about their beliefs and everything there.
Yes.
Right. So, how about you? Why don't you tell us more a bit about yourself?
Okay, so I will need to share my screen here.
Okay.
Wait. Okay. I'll share my screen here with the sound. Yes. Please wait for her a bit. Okay, so today I will actually share like about, well, my life as a musicologist. So this short biography has been read by Brian. So I'm a musicologist, but I am actually a pianist. So my bachelor degree is in piano instruments, and I did play the piano here. So you can see this one. In Japan, like there is such kind like some kind of like culture appropriation thing, which is you cannot take videos while I do like the concert, for example. So like most of my recordings are in audio recording. What I did with soprano. a Japanese soprano, and now I think like she is quite one of the prominent sopranos in Japan. Her name is Yasuko Utsugi, and she was actually my senpai. So in my university, so my senior, and so we did like this like Surabaya Johnny, like to give you an overview that I am a pianist, just like to give a proof that I am actually a pianist. And then so let's listen to a bit of well my playing accompanying Yasuko Utsugi. Sorry, Brian, can you hear the sound well?
Yeah, the
Yes,
audio.
okay. Yes, so it was me like playing the piano. So I was a pianist, and I like music, so I also sing and play the piano. So you can see here, this one is me playing the piano while singing, and then I actually did a jazz band when I was in the university, and I sing as a jazz singer. And this one in the right below, you can see this is a cappella group, a female a cappella group. So if you want to search, you can go to YouTube and search for four women. So FOR women. Yeah. So I did like sing as well an a cappella singer, and what I did there is you can see like this is a hall like in my school, and in my undergraduate studies, well, I take the piano lesson, and then there was a master class last time in my school with Vladimir Ashkenazi. If you know, this is a piano legend. Like if you are a pianist, yeah, I took a picture with my very low quality phone last time, and then so yeah. It's what I did like as a pianist until I get my like bachelor degree. So I did like until why I do like musicology, like maybe like I will talk about that later. But I actually play the violin as well, because like in my old school I did a minor violin instrument, and I actually play the forte piano as well. So it's not piano but forte piano, so the one that Mozart played. Yes, so I did have the minor instruments for that. Yes, that's about me. So if you say what I am, well, I say I am a musician, but now maybe I'm more into like the music research than being an instrumentalist.
All right. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for the back. Thanks for sharing your background with us, Olivia. Well,
Yes.
just to add on to what you were saying earlier on, that now you refer to yourself as a musicologist. So
Yes.
why did you move on from being a instrumentalist, like you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
to a musicologist? Because it definitely sounds like you definitely had your like you made a path for yourself as an instrumentalist. So what made you change directions there?
Yes. Well, that is well. I will tell you like about like my personal story. So I went there as Indonesian, so a nationality of Indonesia, like to Japan, and there I actually met a lot of Japanese friends. So there are no like international students, just me, and then I'm Indonesian. It was like, oh, you're very rare, very unique, that kind of stuff, and they actually asked me about like, hey, how is Indonesian music, and I was like, oh, I know Western music more than my own country's music. So what maybe I know like about gamelan, I know about angklung instruments, but it's just like what I know nothing like about like my own country's music, and so I did some kind of like little research. So I checked actually, yeah, that is a matter of pride also. So I try, how come like I'm an Indonesian, so I don't know. And I try to check, like do a background check, like, oh, my country has very diverse ethnic groups. And it was like a very interesting, like if I do something like about that. And so I challenged myself actually last time, like from my bachelor degree, and I said, yeah, maybe I should do this. I need to push my limits. So it's not just like about like me doing the concerts and I feel happy. I think like I have to do more than that. And well, I tried to enter musicology without knowing the field of musicology. Well, luckily I was accepted, and I did actually like the research about the art songs in Indonesia, which my professor told me that, oh, that is the first time that you did that in Japan. I can guarantee you that that is very unique, like about like Indonesian art songs. Like we know about leaders like in English, in German, and also in French, but in Indonesia it was very strange. And so what I did there, you can see here like in my picture that I went to many conferences. So it was when I was inside there that I realized that, whoa, music is very fast. It's broader than just Western music. That what I did like for the 20 something years, it was like, oh, it was just a tiny bit piece of music of the world. And I realized that. So this, if you see like from the left side, is my professor, is Tatsumura Ayako. And I think like she has retired now, but before like she was my professor, and she did do in ethnomusicology as well. And you can see that from the right one, it's actually the one who present is my senior, is my one of my senpai, and she actually talks about the music, the folk traditional music in Finland. So you can see that how come like people can do research about like music in Finland, and well, it was happening like in the musicology area. And I have to show you here like these are my friends like during my musicology studies. So they are all graduate students last time, and it's very various that. For example, me, I'm doing the art songs in Indonesia, and then so the one beside me is doing the Egyptian music. It was like, how come? Is there any music in Egypt? You kind of like realize, oh, there's new things happening, and then there are one of my senpai as well, like doing the Okinawa music. Like people know about music in Japan, but music in Okinawa, how come? Like what is Okinawa music? And also like do about the film music of the Alfred Hitchcock movies, for example. And then some even do like the Takemitsu Toru. Like well, it's about Western music, but the 20th century, and it's more like the Japanese style diaspora, like in U.S. So like I actually become like astonished with the realm of musicology, and I was like, oh yeah, this is the thing I want to do. And yeah, that's why I go to the musicology. And you can see here like when I took the in my graduate studies, I actually like go like for example for the African night, so you know like about the music in Africa, so you kind of like experience that. And this one on the right you can see like this. I learned gamelan in Japan. I'm Indonesian, but I learned gamelan in Japan, so it was quite like well a mind-blowing thing like to do. And I have also become an interpreter, a Japanese no, English to Japanese interpreter. Like for this one is Dr. Oscar Espina Ruiz. He is the faculty of clarinet, yeah, in University of North Carolina. So when he came to give a masterclass, so I did my interpreting for the second language actually, which is the Japanese. And then actually from the musicology part, what I did is from my graduate thesis, I went to Dublin in the Trinity School of Music, and I actually present there the art songs of Ananda Sukarlan, a prominent Indonesian composer. And we did these conferences. And then last time it was like they say that I'm the only one from the Asian university, so you can see that wow, everything like is more like West centered like in a way. And so this is the conference. It's composition in the 21st century. So I had the chance to go there because of my musicology. And so I graduated there, and you can see me on the right side, not the right side, the left side. And then this one was my husband, yeah, last time. And then so what I did now is I actually become a lecturer, and I teach like many subjects like about like the history and also the literature. And actually I did hold some gala concerts as well. So this one you can see here, this person is Ananda Sukarlan. So it's the composer that I do research, and I actually kept contact with him, and we became like we keep like good relationships. And what we did is that I did the interview there in a concert hall there, and we kept like that good relationships all together. So that's how I shift like from a pianist like to the world of musicology and what happens after next. Yes.
Well, that was definitely very interesting. Like it must have been a very how do I say it? It must have been a very interesting time for you to be collaborating with someone that you actually you were actually doing research on as well. So yeah.
Yes,
Thanks for sharing.
exactly.
Well, thanks for sharing that. And it was definitely very nice to hear. It was definitely very interesting to hear about all the different like aspects of musicology that you can probably
Yes.
delve into. So yeah.
Mhm.
I did not think that it was that. I did not think it was that in depth. Thanks for sharing that with us, Olivia.
You're welcome.
All right. So as you mentioned earlier on, you did do quite a number of research topics, one of which was the Ananda Sukarlan topic, which you just mentioned earlier on. So, what would you care to elaborate about the other research projects that you have been working on, such as the Badui people one?
Yes. So the video that you just the first video is like it's about the Badui people performing the outer Badui. And so I actually do like as a lecturer, like besides teaching, you need to do like this kind of like research and community service. So I did quite many like researches, but I would just like share a bit like which is quite big, which is like the Badui music. And also I went to Papua actually last time, like being an interpreter for the UNICEF. That one I will tell you about that later. But this one is the picture for me in Badui. So you can see very different, like like from wearing a dress in a concert hall, and then now you have to come to like this kind of place, like an Indiana Jones, like you're wearing that hat, and you go to somewhere where there's no electricity. And so I went there. So you can see like this is the part of Outer Baduy. So there is Inner Baduy, but Inner Baduy we cannot take the recordings because it's not allowed. So we cannot take any photographs there. The Outer Baduy, so you can see like we can see like people that we haven't seen before. So this is the Baduy ethnic minority groups, and what we realized there is that, well, they actually use music like in part of the sacred rituals, which I will show you later. And well, these are the children, and you can see they're very cute. So and one interesting fun fact is that they cannot marry with other tribes. So they can just marry with each other in this Baduy ethnic group. So you can imagine like how this happening in the 21st century? Yes, it is. So they only like went with each other, and this one is they say this is quite sacred, and this they took it out from the Inner Baduy. So from Inner Baduy to Outer Baduy, you have to hike like around 6 hours. So you can see like it's very long, but for the Baduy people, they can do it like in 2 hours without wearing sandals. So it's just with a bare feet. And then they come out and they show what's this actually. Like this is some kind of like, part of their gendang. So some kind of like drum. And then you can see over there also there are angklung. Actually, so they play this angklung, and then without formal education or training of music, but they play it well and they know their tune well. So these are perfect pitch. Yeah, so what they get. So last time I did do like some kind. I give like the tuning fork, and I say, "Do you have this sound like in your angklung?" And they will say yes. And if you ask 10 people who play the angklung, they will say yes. And it was like very this kind of stuff. So I did present this. In the University of Suzhou, like in the Faculty of Music, and they were impressed as well. And then I will show you like a bit of the video. This is less than 1 minute. Like this is one of the instruments like of the Baduy people. Well, actually you can see this instrument in West Java as well, other ethnic groups. But maybe like for the international world, maybe you don't know about this. This instrument is called karinding. So I will just give you a bit overview of this instrument. Okay, so if you listen to this, it was like, oh, it's very easy to do that. But if you try it, like the sound that you will come out is just tung tung like that. But what he can do is like woo woo like that. So and that means like some kind of lip rolls. It's like you're doing like this kind of like what flutists do actually. So like they have like this kind of like unique instrument, and in Baduy, so we're I kind of like astonished and a bit like it was like mind blowing that they have like this kind of instruments, and they built this precisely like without ruler. So they can do like they have to build this like from bamboo, and then the bamboo is like they don't have ruler to do like, oh, how many centimeters, and they did it like just like with ratio and then with what they hear. So it's something mind blowing that I did with the Baduy people, and well, we did like the conference like until in an international conference in Suzhou, and people there was like, wow, how come there are still ethnic groups like this? Yes, and it's just one of the 400 something ethnic groups in Indonesia that is yet to be discovered. And then one more I need to share is that, well, I went to Biak actually as Japanese interpreter with UNICEF last time. And this place also, these people are really, they hold music very integral to their life. that they sing all the time, and I found out that they have like these traditions called war, WOR, which is like when your child is born, they will do like these celebrations, and then by singing, and then so try it like together with each other. And also what they do is like if your child has the first tooth, like they will also celebrate like with all the family members, and so they do it until like in the lifetime, so like in the life cycle. So you can see here like they well, maybe like some of you might know already that in East Indonesia, like they are very good in their voice. They have like bold voices, and that bold voices are real. So I went there by myself and see. So this is something that I would do like in my PhD program, which I will be attending like in September, like about the Biak group, Biak ethnic group. And then there's one more, which I certainly, I just currently did it with my colleagues. So you can see my colleagues here is Mr. Ricky Yap and also Kesha Putri. And what we did is that we do um, as we give a survey, we conduct a survey to Indonesian musicians and see what was happening like in the pandemic COVID-19. And we can see here like our respondents are 581. We know that this is quite small, the numbers, if you compare with like the number of total musicians in Indonesia. But at least we can give you like a bit of overview that what we do. For example, like we can see that 54% like of the respondents are full-time musicians, and types of profession that are covered is not just the performer, but there are companies, for example, and composer, music director, music producer as well. So like all types of people, types of musicians are being covered here. And if you see from the percentage, if they are students or not, like you can see that 78% are professionals, so they are not a student. And actually we uncovered many things like about like the change of mental health, and then about like the change of the platform that they use. For example, like they use like they used to play like on site, but now they have to do it online, for example. But the most crucial issues, the most concerning issues is the income. The income before and after COVID-19 pandemic. Just to give you a brief overview, that like before the pandemic, like this is in rupiah. So let's just generalize it that 10,000 rupiah equals to $1, $1. So you can see here, so $100, this 100 to $499. And you can see here like the red one is like before and after the pandemic, 47%. It actually rises, the one that have income below 100 US dollar in a month. So this is a very concerning issues that we get, and we are actually compiling this like in a journal. So we are in the process of writing. And one more that we know that 66 respondents stated that they look for other additional jobs like during the pandemic, and that might be like for well, our friends as well. So it's not just like somebody like who is outside. So that's the overview of what I did, like the research projects that I've done. So the first one is that, well, the Ananda Sukarlan one that I showed you, that I become like quite good friends with him. And then the second one is like the Badui. So like just to give you overview. And then Biak ethnic group in Papua. And also this one, the survey, like because of COVID-19, like how it affects the welfare of Indonesian musicians.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing all that with us, Olivia. It's definitely interesting to hear about the different cultures and regarding your findings through a survey. It's definitely very eye-opening there. Oh, thanks for that. Before we move on forward, I would just like to remind our audience, if you do have any questions for Olivia, please leave them in the Q&A section down below for those of you on Zoom, or you can even leave them in the chat. Or for those of you on YouTube, please type your questions out in the live chat down below. Yeah. Moving back to these research topics, so what did you find most interesting while doing these projects?
Okay, so what I actually find very interesting is that, well, being a musicologist is that music is not only about Western music. That is the first thing I realized when I did the graduate studies until now. And to many parts of community in the world, music is not just something that is to be performed, or music is just for entertaining. It's more than that. It's their life itself. So they have to do this music, like do um, well, this ritual, let's say, like to express their opinions, express their feelings, and also like to praise the gods that they actually believe on. And also, like what I realized is that, well, we can understand people's perspectives by understanding their music. The one that I told you before, like in the first video, that you can see that they listen to each other, and it really happened when I went there. So they say that they never quarrel with each other, which is very it's like mind blowing. How come like me and my sisters, we really quarrel with each other, but like for them it's like well, they sit down and they listen to each other, and well, you kind of like know about the culture and how their upbringing is by understanding their music. And also that, well, me from the survey, like from the COVID-19 pandemic, to the musicians, I think like we musicians need to know more about ourselves. So it's not just about like me playing the right notes, or me can entertain the audience or not, but it's more that like what we really feel. I think that one needs to be uncovered. So what I realized also here, that like during the interview also, like with some of the musicians, is that, well, musicians is not the real career. So this is kind of like the some kind of like the paradigm that are still believed like among the world, that, well, it's not a career, it's not a part of legal status, which is like, I think it need to be changed. Like by how? By, I think musicians need to gather with each other, try to well, say it out, giving aside the ego, the ego that we have, and try to come down with what we really want, and maybe we can propose that, like, well, to the government, so that we can gain like more benefits, and give an understanding like to the government what we really want to achieve. Yes.
That's true. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of musicians out there, including probably some of our own, that agree with you there. There's definitely a lot more that could be done in the realm of music.
Yes.
So yeah, it's definitely good work that you're doing with all your research there. So thanks for doing all this. So yeah, with that, yep, I think we'll move on. So what can you tell us about your own life being a musicologist, like doing research and everything?
Yes. So, well, if you see a musicologist, like most of them might be a lecturer. Yeah. Usually because like, well, they do like, academic writing, and they usually end up becoming a lecturer. So, the one that I shared before, for example, I actually teach like word music. So what I did like during this pandemic time is that I invite my friends. This is one of my sample, like from the previous photo. She is like an Okinawan, and she did like this sunshine music, like to my students. And also, I think like she's joining today as well. Like Tasha is one of the guest speakers for the music in China. She is our student, but also a performer of erhu, guzheng, and dizi. And so she explained about that like in my class. So what I find privileged to be a musicologist is that, well, you teach like this kind of variety of subjects that covers a lot of things. So well, I also teach like Western music history, so which means that you have to like in certain way you have to cover like the Western music as well, the history. But on the other side, that you have to know other than Western music as well. So I had the chance like to do like many researches like with my students. last time, like there's one student like doing the Colin McPhee like music analysis, for example, and then there are students also like doing like this the evaluation of the effect of COVID-19 like to the musicians from the perspective of musicians, what they feel actually because of the virtual performances. So there are many things like to cover, and I still now I'm amazed like with what they come out with, like for example with the topic. And oh, there's one more student, for example, they cover about she covers about the Clara Schumann love affair, not the love affair, well, love affair with Brahms, for example, Johannes Brahms. So like this kind of topic, like it's very, very interesting. And then like it still amazes me until now, like being a musicologist. So that's a life of musicologist, I think.
I suppose like in every like I suppose with as seen in almost every field, like that circle of knowledge of music is ever growing, I suppose. So yeah,
Yes,
it's
yes,
definitely interesting to hear about all these different special topics coming
yes,
out. So yeah. I think we do have a few questions coming in from the audience.
yes.
Just a reminder, if you do want to ask questions, please leave them in the chat, or you can leave them in the Q&A section on Zoom. So, before we move on with the broadcast, do you have any messages for the audience, Olivia?
Okay, so well, my message is that well, actually through like today's sharing, I really just want to share about one perspective of me being musicologist. So other musicologists might have like different opinions, but I just want to give you a grasp of overview that music is very vast. I mean, like the music in this world, like you cannot cover it through your lifetime. So like you have to discover it, like try to for example, you travel to some place, you just go there and then try to adapt like with the people and try to understand, and you might find something very, very interesting. Or I can guarantee you, like you might find very interesting stuffs. And for all of you, like if you like this, being curious like with many kinds of music, I encourage you to like enter like the field of musicology. Maybe like you can be like me also, like amazed all the time until now from which I graduated, and until now like being professionals, like it still amazes me like of what musicologists can do. And well, just to close the message that I will give is that well, Louis Armstrong once said that well, music is life itself. So well, this is my message that some people, or well, many people regard music just as entertainment, but for me, from what I did like with the research, and from me being a musician myself, that well, music is life itself. So it portrays the person, it portrays the group of people, it portrays one community so that we can understand them. And I hope that well, by doing this, well, our outputs are not just academic journals, but maybe it can lead to subsequent like appropriate governmental policies like for the culture. So it's not just one for all, but like all for one, for example, like more diverse like policies like that might be happening in the future. Yes.
All right. Well, thanks for the ending note, Olivia. So I think before we move on to the Q&A session, we do have one time for one last question. So this question comes from the JPO itself. So as you may have heard, the Jesselton Philharmonic Orchestra,
Yes.
or JPO, has involved itself in a variety of activities. So on behalf of the JPO, we would like to ask about your views on the JPO and its activities. Additionally, we would also like to ask about any suggestions that you might have for the JPO and its members so that we may further improve ourselves.
So I know about the JPO because of my previous lecturer, which is Miss Chie Kitamura, which is one of the guest speakers also of the JPO. And actually, well, from there I realized that oh, there's this Jesselton Philharmonic Orchestra that you did very great. Like it's not just like doing the webinars, but you also give education to underprivileged students. I think like that those are the things that Southeast Asian needs. Yeah, we because like in Southeast Asia we know that we are still far away. If we see like from the music education, the level of how people perceives about music, how people think about music, it's still very different if we compare like with, for example, East Asia or in the West world. So I think what you have done is very inspiring. And I will say that if in Indonesia there are like groups like you, it will be very good. I mean, that we should act together. We should collaborate with each other so that we can expand well and reach to more people. So I think what you have done is very, very good.
Thanks, Olivia. I'm very sure our founders are definitely very happy to hear you say that. I hear your kind words. And yeah, we definitely. I think we'll definitely look forward to being able to collaborate in the future. Hopefully. All right. I think with that, we'll have to move on to the Q&A section. So we do have a few questions coming in from the chat, and we do have one in the Q&A section of Zoom. So I'll read out that one for you. So this is coming from one of our viewers. So they're saying, what should I have or do to become a musicologist?
Okay, so to become a musicologist, I hate to say this, but you have to read a lot of books because you do research. It's like maybe many people will say that, oh, it's very interesting, like to go to field work, but without like prior knowledge or literature, like it will be just like going there and then seeing and have fun. So there will be like no, some kind of revelation from above. This like this kind of understanding won't come out. Like if you just see and then travel and just see it as a performance. So you have to read a lot, and I had to say this again that you have to write. So because in many cases that you have to sum up the ideas. Like for example, you go to the Badui people, you want to say about Badui music, then you have to go to the conference, but with writing something. So like for example, conference papers or with academic journals. So maybe it's the hard part there. It's the hard part, but the best part, what you need the most, like if you want to be musicologist, is the curiosity. Like if you're not curious in everything is done. It's like this is just like that, this is just like that, and then you have the feeling, for example, this is more superior or this is more inferior. No, you cannot think like that. So you have to think more objective. So but the key is curiosity. So you have to be curious with all stuff.
All right. Well, that was definitely a very interesting response then. Just to add on a bit to this, because you did say that you have to read a lot. How do you deal with like certain literature, like certain literatures that happen to be in a different language? Do you come across a lot of those in your field of work?
Yeah, so that's one of the skills also needed to be a musicologist. Yeah. So for example, like when I was like accepted like in the PhD, like one of the professors asked me like, do you read Japanese? Do you understand like Japanese well? I said yes. So like one of the things that are being tested are the linguistic skills. So if you have more, it means that you have the access more. But it doesn't mean that, I just know 2 languages, then it's done already. No. So I have friends, like for example, Japanese, who only speak Japanese, while they speak only little English, but they actually succeeded like to go to the master program. Well, for the doctoral, maybe like you need like much more than that, but they actually like can get like, so what you cover, maybe you have to know like the literature, like in what languages. So if it's like you covered the Japanese history, like the Japanese music, so what you need is the Japanese language ability.
Okay, well, thanks for that. Thanks for humoring me, Olivia. So this person does have one more question in addition to the first one. So how does one pick the right topic for musical research?
Oh, this is very deep. Yeah. So if you pick one topic, I suggest you that don't do this just like for like part of your projects. So I just do this, but without knowing that I really like this or not. So like it's like choosing boyfriend or girlfriend. So you have to like kind of brainstorm. So there are many things like to uncover like in this world, like in the realm of musicology. Like for example, ethnic music. There are so many ethnic music. Why I choose Baduy, for example. Why I choose like Biak or Papua. So it has to be related to your personal experiences. For example, I had the chance like to go as interpreter, so I had the chance to talk deeply like to the one of the Biak people, and it made me feel like, oh, yeah, I had this connection with them, and then I really want to know that, and I feel that that is the right topic to choose. So I know it's hard like to choose the topic, but well, it's like you go to the supermarket, like which the detergent you want to use, the liquid washer you want to use. So it's like you just but see the pros and cons, and you will come out with that. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you probably just do need to just dive into it and just experience it, and then
Yes.
you'll
Yes.
be able to make a decision better. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thanks for that. I'm sure they are satisfied with your response there, Olivia. So we do have another question coming in from a Tasia Tanzil. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. So my question for Miss Olivia is, how hard is it to promote or present uncommon Asian music such as the Baduy or Papua to Western musicians and researchers? Or in broader terms, like how do they usually respond to such new research?
I would say that from my personal experience, like I did conferences in East Asia and also in the Western world. Like in Ireland, that people are like they in the Western world, it's like it's more that like they really appreciate what researchers are. So they really know that like to research something like it needs so much effort in that. So they actually respond with very good response. Like although they are astonished, they were like wow, but they really appreciate it. So what I don't find is that in for example in our own like Southeast Asia that maybe people are accustomed to that they say that oh this ethnic group is from my country, but they don't really appreciate what these research are. For example, like this culture and music. I just say like in general. I'm sure that there are many people who appreciate this as well. But what from my personal experiences is that well, we as Southeast Asians, like we need to know more about what our community really thinks about, because it's much harder for us to convince them than we convince like to the international world. So that's from my personal point of view. Yeah, because maybe like from the level of research and the quantity of research, like the Western world are more advanced than us.
All right. Well, I'm sure they're happy with that answer there. We do have one coming in from YouTube. So this is one Melissa Evelyn.
Yes.
So how do you cope? How do you balance between family and being a musicologist? And they even included a salute there for you.
She's actually my sister. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, this one is more like it's not about musicologist, but maybe being a mother and then doing a career. Maybe it's more like with that I still do my work, but I still take care of my twins actually. So I have twins. Yeah, but what I suggest is that in Asia we usually tend to think that family is the most important stuff. Yeah. I completely agree with that. But what I think more is that for myself, this is maybe like my personal motto is that, well, if you love yourself, then you will achieve what you want. So regardless you are a housewife, regardless you are a musicologist, or you are an HR employee or something, like I think like first we have to love ourselves by pursuing what we have, And then I think like those kind of like family balance stuff will be balanced in the end. So I think like you have to trust your gut, to trust your what you feel.
All right. Well, I'm sure your sister will definitely appreciate the answer there. All right. So before we move on to the rest of the questions, we do have two comments from one of from our viewers. So
Mhm.
one I think is another relative, might be another relative of yours, Jessie Evelyn. They're
Yes.
saying sugoi.
Yes.
So they're saying sugoi on the YouTube chat, and we have Julia Allen also just giving their round of applause for you.
Okay.
All right. So with that, we'll move on to the rest of the questions. So we have one of our viewers saying "Apa kabar?"
Baik-baik saja.
May I know the differences in between musicology and ethnomusicology?
Okay. So like, well, maybe when we say about the term musicology, it is research about music. So which means that there will be music history, there will be music theory, there will be like for example music in the 21st century, or music in the classical era, or early music, for example. And then there are ethnomusicologists in it, which is musicology is the some kind of like the parent the parent category, and then the children are those things that I mentioned. So which is like, for example, like music theory. So musicologists, music theorists are called musicologists as well. So and we see that, for example, Mozart piano sonata, you see KV in there. So that's actually like the one who compiles or who do the catalog number of Mozart. And it's from Ludwig Kochel. Is an Austrian musicologist, and he actually did like these numbers, the category of the works, and it makes us actually the later musicians, performance, or musicologists, like to understand better about the chronological like issues. So well, that's part of what musicologists do, for example. And one more, well, for example, music theories. So we find out about like Schoenberg, for example, about the 12th tone, and then we try to find out where is the serialism is. That is one of the musicologists do as well. And then, for example, well, the love story of the, for example, Chopin and the other women, or Beethoven, like why did he didn't marry like until the rest of the life. And that's what musicologists do as well. And so part of it is ethnomusicologists. So if we see Bela Bartok is one of the first ethnomusicologists in the world. So what he brings is, because he is a composer as well, he did take like some of the folk music, and then to try to implement it and try to transcribe it into the piano works, for example. So it's one of Bela Bartok do. And what we see from the 21st composers also, like there are usually composers slash ethnomusicologists. So for example, Colin McPhee, like he actually went to Bali to play the gamelan Bali and do a transcription of Balinese ceremonial music, which is for like two pianos. So that's what musicology and ethnomusicology.
All right. So basically, ethnomusicology is sort of like a subcategory of musicology
Yes.
itself. All right. Well, thanks for sharing all that with us, Olivia. I think we've just about run out of time for our Q&A section. So thank you so much for your responses, Olivia, and thank you everyone for all your questions. Sorry everyone, but we are coming to the end of tonight's broadcast, so we would like to remind everyone that our JPO Family Program will be broadcasted twice a week. So that's every Sunday, and that's every Wednesday and Sunday night in Malaysia time, or Indonesian time as well, until further notice. So join us next time with our next guest, who will be revealed at a later date. More details on this can be found on our Facebook page. A video recording of tonight's broadcast will also be available on the YouTube channel, along with the past webinars and the soon to be broadcasted interviews. So feel free to share the Zoom webinar registration link, JPO YouTube channel, and maybe even JPO Facebook page with your friends and family. For our YouTube audience, if you are enjoying our program, please show your support to us by pressing the like and subscribe button down below. So once again, you guys have been an amazing audience, and we from the JPO family wishes that everyone stays safe and healthy as we continue to face this crisis together. With that, I will now be leading the prayer to end tonight's program. So please pray in whatever faith you believe in regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. We pray that everyone in the world continues to stay strong in surviving through these difficult times, and that a solution to the virus will soon be found. We pray that governments across the world continue to improve upon their efforts and decision-making so as to protect their people and curb the spread of the virus. We pray for the safety and well-being of everyone working as we now enter our second week of March, and as parts of the world continue to face new surges of cases. We pray for the continued safety and morale of the frontliners who are risking their lives so that they may continue to provide for those in need. So with that, once again, we've come to the end of our program. So once again, thank you, Olivia, for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And thanks to everyone joining us tonight. So good night, and we hope to see you all again next time.